So I'm back on the courtyard area that we started the other week after we'd done the drainage. And I've just dug out all this extra soil that was around here. There's quite a lot of it. Obviously the digger went back, and I'm now having to do this by hand as well, so I've got rid of all of that. It was really stacked up against the wall, so I'm quite glad that I've moved it away. And I'm guessing some of the earth against the wall is not particularly great, and one of the reasons why we might have damp in this house. And I've noticed this, so when we took this was all slabbed, and when we took the slabs away, there was a big crack and a hole in this soil pipe here. It's a cast iron soil pipe that it turns into plastic eventually. It connects into plastic, so that's another thing I'm probably going to have to do pretty soon. We've planted the box hedging, and it looks a bit crap at the moment. It's just a bit all over the place. I don't really want to start getting the hedge trimmer on it, just because I think, I don't know, I might kill it off or something. So I just want to let it settle really, and we keep watering it. But we've run out, so all of that was over here we've now transplanted over here, but that's as much as we've got. And then I've just plonked this here for now. I found this archway. It's a bit bent out of shape, but I found this archway over on the right hand side of the land, and we're going to try and make use of it. I don't think that's going to be the position of it up on the kind of mound, but so the whole kind of oil tank that's here at the moment, we're having an air source heat pump, and until that's gone, I'm not really sure what line to do across here with the hedging. So we kind of need to wait until that's gone before we can then figure out exactly what the line's going to be, and then we'll just like continue it round and then make sure that we've got the archway in the right area. So it's looking, well, a lot more level than it was. I'm quite happy with that, and considering, you know, how uneven it was before. So I think, look, we're just going to put the string lines around again, and we're going to start just raking it now and just trying to get the level consistent as possible. And then we're going to get down the weed membrane, and then we'll put the stone down as well. But I'm sort of in two minds as to whether to go that far and put the stone down until I've maybe repaired this drain. But I'm really hoping that it's just a case of I can almost like lop it off and then connect something to it, rather than have to almost like dig it all out, because it goes into this inspection chamber here, which is really high, and I think I've said this on a previous video, it's like a real trip hazard. And I'm going to take out like a course or two of bricks, and then I'm going to cement one of those the trays that you get with that you can actually put slabs into. But obviously we're stone in this, so I'm just going to put the stones in the tray just to kind of disguise it a lot. But yeah, that I mean, it's not giving off the best smell either, that isn't, so definitely need to try and sort it out. It wouldn't be very pleasant sitting out here with that smell. Yeah, so I'll keep cracking on. I've obviously still got to build the rest of the sleeper beds, so they're all cut, so I just need to screw them together. So I've just finished the manhole cover. I've haunched all around the edges of it, and I think it looks okay. And I've sloped it down so any water will kind of drain away from it. And the whole kind of back area here definitely has. We've made sure that it has like a slope away from the house. So we're going to stone the thing anyway. So you know the drainage should be so much better anyway. And like I mentioned, we've removed so much of the soil that was around the house, and we're going to take the stone up kind of level with this course here. So I've put a level across onto that manhole, and it's pretty much there. I've also So I've started to repair this. There was, as I started to take it out, I noticed some kind of like hairline cracks around the clay. So I've just cemented all this around it now to kind of seal it and hold it in. I have got some new soil pipes, and I'm planning to go from bottom to top with the new soil pipe. This is cast iron here, and I've never ever done this before. I think for tonight, because we've got one of my daughter's friends are around, and at the moment the kind of toilets are off limits. So for tonight, I think I'm just going to connect it in with one of these. I'm going to connect it at the bottom and then connect it into this here. But my plan is to basically saw off, and then I've got a feeling this is going to be quite hard to get off, but maybe I'll be surprised. This kind of the connection here where it goes off at an angle, I have got one of those, but it's the wrong angle. So I've bought this, but it looks too steep of an angle, so I think that's probably a 45, and I think I need something different to that. I've had a look on Amazon, so I think what I might have to do is take the kind of the pipe up to there and almost try and get this cast iron out of there. Obviously do the run up to the roof, and then I might have to leave that for now with that connection on, and then I'll have to do that bit later, and that will go all the way through into the wall, into the I think there's actually 2 toilets that connect into that. So yeah, it's been a bit of a learning curve doing this. As I say, I've never ever done this before. I think it's gone okay. It's not, I've probably done it totally wrong, and I'm going to get loads of comments and slated about how poorly I've done it, but I think from YouTube is my source for all DIY and tutorials and stuff on this sort of stuff. So I've just been following so many people that have been doing this sort of job, and they all seem to be doing it the same. So we'll see if there's any leaks. So work started on the inside of the house, as you will have seen from some of the time-lapse footage. I've been mentioning this for a while, so we're having wall insulation, loft insulation, air source heat pump and solar, and we're having it totally free and all fully paid for, installed, all totally free. Not through earning money off YouTube, definitely not, definitely not. But we've found a scheme called Eco4, and I'm probably going to do another video on this at some point. So in the UK, the government do a £7,500 grant towards a heat pump. It's not that we've used. It's a scheme called Eco4, which is a government-backed scheme that is it's basically like the energy companies have to they have a big pot of money, and the government kind of insists that they upgrade rural homes. But to qualify for it, you basically have to be low income, or you have to have like a health condition. And they have a range of health conditions, and we qualify because one of us has a health condition. So we basically contacted a company that sorts this sort of Eco4 scheme, and basically the work has started now. So they're currently doing the all of the wall insulation at the moment, and the time lapse that I got earlier kind of I think showed near enough the whole process, other than maybe plastering, which they have done now. But I just thought I'd show quickly what's going on here. So they're almost creating these like studs with there's some kind of PIR or foam insulation behind it, and then that builds the wall out a little bit, and then they're putting in obviously there's a sheet of OSB on the front of it, and then they also put in the kind of rock wall, the wall insulation, and that will bring the wall out slightly in terms of like the we're kind of encroaching in a little bit on the space of the room. But they're also putting in sort of insulated plasterboard on the slopes of the roof as well. So hopefully that's going to make things a lot warmer in here, especially over winter. I think one of the things that I'm a little bit worried about is the fact that because there's still cement render on the outside of the house, is just how, putting all this stuff on, are we then going to create even more problems with damp? But our plans are basically to remove all of that cement render and to get it to have a more breathable render put onto the house. They do put like a big sheet of like a vapor barrier all across it after they've put the rock wool in, and then they put the vapor barrier across, and then they put the plasterboard on top of that, and then they skim coat it with the plaster. But they're not doing every wall, so they're doing the exterior walls, as in not the outside walls, but the walls that are on the exterior of the property. They're not doing any internal walls. So I think the good thing is that the walls are going to look pretty good once those are finished. So it's going to save us a lot of time and money by them doing that, and we'll then just focus on the kind of remaining walls that are left in each of the rooms to kind of bring them up to par, I guess, in terms of finish. But yeah, I'm really happy with the job that they're doing at the moment. They're obviously doing all this, and then once that's completed, there's a same company, but another team from the company will then come around, and they will install brand new radiators everywhere. And I think we're talking to them about relocating some of the radiators just to help us with our future plans for knocking walls through and stuff like that. And at the same time, the radiators, all new pipe work to them. They're going to have to take up a lot of the floorboards, and then eventually they'll also install that air source heat pump as well. And then the solar panels. So the solars, we were kind of a little bit unsure about whether to go solar. So, and more so because we we didn't really want it to ruin the look of the house. So we've actually decided to not have any solar panels on the main house itself. So we're actually going to be putting the solar panels, which I've asked for totally black solar panels, so no kind of silver on them. We'll see whether they actually follow through on that. But we're going to put them all on the barn. So we've actually, I can't remember how many it is now, maybe about 13 or so solar panels. So they're going to put them on each side of the barn. I think there's probably more on one side than the other. But it'll keep the kind of the house looking normal as a normal roof without any solar panels on it. I guess that's one of the things. I did think about maybe putting the solar panels in the land. And I could always do that at a later point. I think the main thing we were thinking of with this is let's just get all the kit. Let's get all the kit off them. And then if we want to, we can relocate it at whatever point we want. So they're going to go on the barn for now. The scheme doesn't supply a battery with the solar, so it's basically going to be using the house is going to be using solar throughout the day, and then at night it will have to use the grid electricity. But it doesn't mean that we can't add battery or batteries to the installation at some point. But we're really happy that we qualified for this. I think the guys that are installing it have basically said that they think we're getting at least around £60,000 worth of stuff, including all the the kit and the installation. So very happy with that. We just have to hope it makes a big difference. So I've pretty much got this room near enough back to a bare shell. So this was the room above the kitchen. It's a bit of a awkward room. I've taken out the banister. There was just like a really wonky banister that was here. I've taken up all the carpet. Obviously you saw me taking down with my son all the plasterboard on the ceiling. I've had to take off all the plaster across here because I think the guys that are in to do the insulation and all the plasterboards and the plastering, originally this had a load of wiring, like all cased in down here. Well, there was wires everywhere, all across here. But when I started to take this out, I just pulled on the wires a little bit, and they just pulled out completely, so they were cut. So I think all the wiring that was down here was like the very old wiring for the house. And since since they've had the extensions done, the previous owners, I think now the new wiring kind of comes down here. You can see where the grey wire is here, up along here, and then it goes into this consumer unit here. So that's all. I've not touched that. I'm not going to touch any of that. But everything else was just it was disconnected. It was all cut. I've left this one in because I know that one goes to the light. This one here, it's just hanging down here. I disconnected that and it's hanging down here. We've got this box in the corner, which I'm just not going to keep going at this. I think I'm just going to leave that. But I don't think there's much in that. I think there might be. So I can definitely see some wires at the bottom. I don't know whether the extractor fan or something from the kitchen goes up into that. I'm not really sure, but obviously there's, it's not a chimney, and well, maybe it was at one point. And then all the oil boiler is directly below us here. So we've got all this funky pipe work that goes on. There's loads here, all copper pipe work, which I'm really hoping that when they install the heat pump, they'll disconnect all this and simplify it massively, and might take these to the scrapyard and try and get some money for them. And then this, I've taken all the kind of wooden casing that was on this, so you might be able to see through this window, but this is the extension on the back of the house. There's like a slightly weird extension that comes out, which goes off it just makes the dining room a little bit bigger off it. Assuming this was like probably one of the first extensions that was done on this house, but it comes through into here, and then obviously they've built this extension on top of it almost. But this here is basically the ceiling for the dining room. So I can't take this out because it's just going to go into the dining room then. So we're going to have to live with this. And I think that's the only thing I can think of really doing for this, unless anybody has some great ideas, is turning it into some kind, once all this is gone, all the pipe work and everything, is maybe turning it into some kind of storage. And we're thinking that this might become another bedroom, a bedroom for my daughter, because she's actually tried sleeping up here and she quite likes it up here. And it's got a really nice view out one of the windows. But I was thinking possibly, like, these beams here, they're resting on this. I mean, some of this brickwork is not very secure. But I don't think you'll be able to see this because it's so dark on the camera. But there is actually a timber, like a structural timber that goes all the way across there from like one wall to into the wall of the house here. So I've been contemplating whether to take some of this brickwork down to sort of here, basically where the ceiling level is, and then maybe make drawers that go into here, like a few drawers, and then kind of paneling all the bottom half, because I can't do anything with that, and then having this all like extending up to the ceiling, and having almost like a wardrobe, like built-in wardrobes, and then maybe this side have some kind of shelves or something like that kind of, so it's all like a built-in thing with some shelves this side, and then cupboard doors this side, and then some, maybe trying to make use of this space where these wooden beams are, to basically try and make some drawers out of it. I don't know when I'll get around to doing that, because it seems like there's a million other things to do. But I think, I mean, compared to what this was, I know it looks a bit awful at the moment, and with everything exposed. But it definitely feels a lot tidier and cleaner in here now. I've taken all the carpet off the stairs as well, all that down there. So yeah, I think the guys that are doing the insulation, the insulated walls, they're gonna, I think, tackle this room next. So that's all the solar panels on now. We've had, I think there's 18 solar panels, and we've had them all on the one side of the barn. I think the original plans were to have some on this side and then some on the other side, but I'm really glad that they've put them all on this side. They've managed to fit them all on. It means basically when we're sitting out in the garden, we won't see any solar panels, so these are only really visible from this quiet lane. I'm also really happy they turned up totally black and no kind of silver in them, and we've got them all on and avoided putting them on the main house itself. So it feels like there's been a lot going on this week. It feels like there's a lot of progress. Pretty glad that there's other people been helping out and it's not just all on us. And yeah, we've gone, the video's probably been a little bit all over the place. It's been quite a lot of time lapse, and we've had obviously problems with the soil pipe. We've tried to do the courtyard and tried to make progress on that, but haven't really got very far on that. But I do think we're at the stage where we can probably start stoning it now. I've obviously got to complete the run up to the roof on the soil pipe, but we've made really good progress inside. I think the guys that are doing the wall insulation, they've probably got like another week to do, and then after that's all done and that's all plastered, we'll then have the guys in to come and do the heat pump, and then that's kind of that bit done. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. Remember, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, and leave us a comment and tell us what you think of the progress so far, and I'll see you at the next one.